Good day everybody, hello, welcome back to the channel. Now, if you remember, back on the community tab, 2 weeks ago I posted about a special video that I was going to make called the top 5 champs that have amazing survivability. Explanation is due. What the hell am I talking about with this? Well, these are basically champions based on either their ability, the rate of regen they're able to reacquire, or based on some other element of ability. They are able to keep you alive in the game. Mistakes happen. Issues happen with the game. This is Kabam's game. It's gonna mess up because dropped inputs and other stuff. But also, when mistakes or issues happen, you want to hope that a champion is able to keep you alive in the game. And we've got so many champions in this to select. And trying to do a top 5 is very difficult because there's definitely more than 5 that are good. There's actually 40 champions. Yes, 40. And trying to narrow that down, hey, that is very difficult. So what I've done, as I do with a lot of these kind of like top 5s, I've put all of the suggestions and as well all the champions, a little bit of information about why they're so good in the description down below. So there's a long list of them. Now, I'm not going to showcase footage for all of the champions, but I am going to read out some and then throw over the top footage of some of those champions' interactions and how they're regenning loads or having great armor ability. Then we're going to go over the top 5. So let's list off those champions that are amongst our 40 plus. There's King Groot with very high regen off the SP3 and if awakened. Hulkbuster with his amazing awakened ability, recovering over 14,000 health depending on the level. Blade with his awakened ability. Namor with regens off of specials. Warlock with SP3 rotations. Black Widow Clairvoyant with Blood Curse with the SP2. Old Man Logan, Guillotine 2099 with self-repair and as well other factors to the ability. Rogue with the SP1 and regen. Hyperion with the SP3. Nebula when hit by criticals. Magic with limbo. Sabretooth if getting hit. And also we've got Phoenix with the awakened ability. Mr. Sinister, Anti-Venom with a high signature. Dormamu once imbued. Diablo with Philosopher's Mix and Distilled Will. We've got Immortal Hulk. We've got Bishop. We've got Omega Red, we've got Deadpool, we've got Morningstar, Joe Fixit, Wolverine, and yes, Omega Sentinel, who just recently been. Those are the key regen ones, but there are a few others, especially factoring to things like ability. You've got the likes of Colossus Civil Warrior, you've got Iron Man Infinity War, Spider-Man 2099 once being hit. You also have Nick Fury when he's awakened. We've got Ghost, we've got Jabari Panther, Corvus Glaive, Luke Cage with the Indestructible, Captain America Infinity War because of the high block proficiency, auto blocking as well with that, Angela because of regen elements, Gwenpool because she can take like a special attack and still survive if she's down to the last bit of health, Captain Marvel when it's awakened, she's got Indestructible, Killmonger with Indestructible with Void, and Hercules with his awakened immortal ability. The question might be, with all of that stuff, how do you narrow that down to be, well, a top 5? And it was really difficult, and I do think I am doing a lot of disservice to other champions that should be within a top 5, and it's very difficult. If I had to do like a top, I don't know, a top 10, even a top 20, it probably would have covered this. But I think we can make some kind of assumptions based on several things. Utility factors, damage output, and just like a decent regeneration that you can do with the champion. Definitely could put this into a top 8. That top 8 could consider first off Hercules with his immortality buff, which does very much kind of open up the champion to survive that little bit longer. The reason I haven't put him into a top 5 situation is just that some of the other champions are able to gather much more, like they're able to regen, which essentially means that they can just get back up to full health, but it doesn't take away from anything from Hercules because it is a fantastic, absolute beast of a damaged champion, and definitely, you know, one that can be considered within the top 8. The other one that could be considered with any kind of like top 8 scenario has definitely got to be Blade. And again, like you kind of go, oh well, you know, Nick Fury's a better kind of like skill-based champion. That's very correct. But the difference is between this being a survivability champion, one that keeps you alive longer. There's not so much of this champion within the current meta. The 6 stars recently being buffed, but also the interaction with reducing dimensional based champions, mystic champions, and villain based champions means that this champion can like break down a few kind of like boundaries of issues, but mainly when it comes to like doing bleed damage, regenerating, there's some stuff that really allows this champion to survive and keep himself in the game. And one within this top 8, as I said, I will be doing the top 5 in a moment, but I want to make kind of like you know, just a point to say it's tough to leave out some really decent champions, including Immortal Hulk, which is allowed to gain back just like a large amount of regeneration when he's knocked down. So that's just something kind of like absolutely amazing about Immortal Hulk, is that like from what seems to be like, oh, he's going down, no, he's building up a load of regeneration and he's able to continue the fight. But now I digress. As I said, this is meant to be a top 5 survivability champions based video, and here we indeed go. And as I said, it is tough, but in at number 5, and maybe that these aren't in any kind of great order, but we've got the awakened ability of Hulkbuster. I personally love Hulkbuster. It's just a great champion that I really enjoy, and I just feel at times this champion gives you a massive get out of jail free card when it comes to being close to losing all your health. Yes, if you're staggered, yes, if you've got something on you that's or heal blocked, then that's not going to be great. But when it comes to this champion, if you're able to activate it, and 9 times out of 10 you will be able to, with that awakened ability, you recover back 14,814 health with a 5-star 565 rarity. To give you an idea, that is just under half of that's just under 50% of the health of the champion here, and that's just great. That's great to recover that amount of regeneration. You can feel that, okay, I'm going to be able to continue the fight and continue moving on. Having armor, but also having a light resistance to bleed and poison effects means that this champion is very effective. Damage output wise is very effective as well, and I just think that this champion with armor break as well allows you to keep yourself strong, keeps yourself well in the fight, and definitely recovers you and allows you to survive a little bit longer than others. Next up is Hyperion, and Hyperion actually has a great SP3. The champion in any case can do like some great damage rotations and really keep up the fight. SP2 loop rotations allow you to keep stuns on, and that can be fantastic to kind of keep up the pressure. But for me, whenever any kind of like bad things happen, and I have used this champion in incursions to keep myself alive, that SP3 is nice. Cosmic Healing Regeneration. Now you will get the Cosmic Healing, you get three charges, Cosmic Charges, which you can convert over. And that's 5,000 health each time over 15 seconds, right? And it will be a case that you have to wait 45 seconds in order to like re-trigger that off again. But imagine being able to do that multiple times in a fight, meaning you've got great survivability for different pieces of content. It's not going to be useful all of the time, but if we're talking about the idea of surviving, this champion can indeed do it. So yeah, that's something to kind of point out. That's one of the champions that I think is great for survivability. Next, and talking about utility this time, and having a champion that's able to regen, also kind of like a champion that's able to deal with immunities, being immune to incinerate, poison, and bleed. And in particular the bleed mode, which is the bleed curse, she can give back some health to herself, which is right here on the SP2, and that you regenerate 35% of the damage dealt, and that is really important and allows you to get some stuff back, get you some health back, and also keep yourself in a fight. So yeah, great champion for survivability, and also having an immense amount of utility at the same time in the shape and form of Black Widow Clairvoyant. Now on to a personal favourite of mine, a kind of a reawakening for me of a champion that I kind of overlooked. Recently got her as a 6-star, and that is Guillotine 2099. I'm enjoying it so much more, especially with having lots more utility, similar to the previous champion. Got power control as well off that SP1, but also when it comes to like the pre-fights, damage potential the champion has, and also, and I think the main thing is well, miss as well. Having that miss mechanic can help you out and give you immense survivability. That's another element. But the final element is in order to kind of like when you're low on health, you get self-repair. That's another thing. Self-repair will give you back a nice amount of health, but which is 5,373, keeping you alive in the game. Also, we've got a little bit of strength when it comes to, I think, block proficiency or armor. Either way, there's a good amount of kind of taking damage via the block, not seeing any chip damage, which is really helpful in later parts of content. And finally, of course, and maybe I'm being biased, I don't know, I personally love King Groot. King Groot, since it's been buffed, has been an absolute G of a unit of getting regeneration back and keeping yourself alive in the game. Simply performing like an SP3, I think I'm going to show footage over the top of this particular segment, where I decided, well, obviously a lot of this footage is getting hit in order to see like what happens, and building back the regeneration required in order to kind of like find yourself at 100% health is just an absolutely beautiful thing to see. So yeah, King Groot is definitely up there. The longer you're in a fight, the more damage you do. Lots of poison damage. Yes, there's not kind of great utility, but there is a nice armor break rotation that can be done with the champion, but it's just a case of damage and survivability, and this champion is indeed that. As I said, not a great amount when it comes to utility, great with suicide masteries, not a huge amount of survivability not in this extent amount of utility, but if you want something to get yourself right back up to 100%, where other champions will not get you back up to 100% as quick, then definitely King Groot is your man for that. But there are obviously other options within the top 5 that I listed that indeed have immense utility. And of course, amazing survivability. This was a lot of fun putting this video together. Shout out to everybody in the community tab. As I said, I will be doing these videos once in a while. It will take a lot longer to research and kind of put them together. But when I do, you know, this may be like once every 2 weeks and put them out on Sunday or something. It's a lot of fun to do. So keep the suggestions coming into the videos you'd like to see made on Discord, and I'll try and facilitate it. I like doing these kind of like obscure top 5 series because it's just fun to do. But yeah, thanks very much for supporting. Thanks very much for checking out this video. What's your top 5? Put it in the comment section down below. I appreciate you very much for supporting. Check out some other content located on screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that will be. Much love. Goodbye. Bye-bye.